Hello, everyone. My name is Paolo Chasa, and I am the teen librarian in the Enoch Pratt Free Library's Govins branch, and I am the host and coordinator of the Manga Drawing Lessons Weekly. If you're seeing this recording, I've probably put it up on Twitch because I wasn't able to actually do a streaming thing, which is unfortunate, but it happens. Anyway, let's get started. I've been trying to record this particular lesson for the longest time, and I've had some successes, which is nice. Anyway, so this is the Manga Drawing Lessons Weekly, or rather, site on our homepage, which is prattlibrary.org/event/manga_drawing_lessons_weekly. I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they did just like manga drawing. Anyway, so essentially, our program is learn how to draw anime and manga characters step by step in weekly sessions. Build up a binder of your best drawings and be a real artist. Supplies for the program will be available at the Govins branch. Call 410-396-6098 to request an appointment to pick up materials while supplies last. Now, essentially you will be... Oh, you know what? Let me just show you. This is what you'll be receiving, or rather... this is like the starter kit and materials provided. This is like the front page that you'll be given. You'll be getting a portfolio binder, sketch paper, which is essentially HP 32 pound, basically really nice, slightly thicker paper. It's not quite sketch paper, but it does the job really well. Arteza HB pencils or number 2 pencils, kneaded erasers, and a 3-ring pencil case. This is all yours to keep for free if you grab a kit if you grab a kit. I was about to say upstairs. I'm actually downstairs in the auditorium, which is why there's a slight echo. You can pick this up at the adult reference desk by asking any of the librarians present, and they'll probably send you to me, and I'll be like, "Hey, thank you for being interested for this." Manga Drawing Lessons Weekly, and we'll give you the materials, and of course the various lessons in hand. Now, essentially, the starter kit includes everything you want to draw, how to learn manga, everything you need to start learning how to draw manga, and the idea is you use the binder to use as a sketchbook and a portfolio to show off your work, meaning if you draw anything in it that you feel like you really like, you can keep it there, so if you want to, you can show it to other people. Every week we'll be every week or so rather, we'll be creating and doing more tutorials for the Manga Drawing Lessons Weekly, and this is a small selection of the books the books available for to borrow in the library. I particularly like the action manga one because it focuses a lot on poses, a lot on body proportions and stuff, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Okay. This weekly lessons binder is essentially a... Oh heavens, hold on. That's not me. This is me. Alright, switching over to my face real quick. You don't need to see my password, y'all. It's private. Okay. Go back. Okay. So, going back to the window, there we go. Alright, so we've already put up a couple of lessons here, and we're just going to go through them relatively quickly so we can get to the drawing. Alright, so in each of your binders, each week, you're going to get one of these lessons, and we're going to start with lesson number 1. I should also mention that all of these lessons come from this book, Mastering Manga by Mark Criley from from Impact Books. There are several manga drawing books that can get you started. I particularly like this one because um, it's a series of 3 books that go from easy, intermediate to advanced, and this is the very beginning, the very, very start. So, if anyone wants to get in on the ground floor of learning how to draw anime and manga characters, or just learning how to draw in general, I recommend this book, and because we'll be using it for the weekly manga drawing lessons weekly, and we'll be using other books as well, depending on what I can find on both the Govan shelf and my personal library, because I have a lot of these books, or some books like it. Anyway, let's go back to the window. So, what I've essentially done is photocopied some of the pages of the book in order to give out as lessons. We're going to go over the first lesson in this recorded video, this relatively short recorded video. Essentially, in page. Man, it's like page 0. No, it is page. No, it's page. Wait, go to Dokoni. I can look here. It's right there. It's page 8. On page 8, it basically shows you, I believe, the author talking about character design, specifically how there really is no one way to draw a manga face. Every artist finds their own way of creating their own style or some sort of to create whatever manga or anime character that they like. For example, no two artists, unless they really want to, would draw, say, the same character in the same way. There's very subtle differences, even if they're following the same template, because of the way they choose to both interpret or how they've known how to do various stylistic choices. So essentially, however, it disappeared. However, instead of doing the endless variations, because that's a different book entirely, Mark Criley essentially goes into the happy middle of realistic to extremely cartoony to that's fairly common and relatively approachable as a style. As you advance your abilities, you want to try other things, so consider the lessons as a starting point. Now, so what you need will depend and vary. The way that these lessons are set up, I am actually using a digital format. In fact, let me switch over to CSP. I'm actually using a digital format called CSP, which if folks have listened to, have been in my other streams and my other lessons, you'll know that I primarily use CSP, and while the things I'm giving out are like this exactly, sketchbooks and other things. Alright, hold on. I need to very quickly check the levels. Okay, levels are okay. Alright, so essentially what you'll need, don't worry too much about art supplies. The basics that I will be giving out from the Goffin's branch, and anything you buy is basically enough. All you really need, really need, is pencil, paper, and time and willingness to learn. Let's go. For example, paper is. Let's go. However, that said, the other side of that rule is you'd want to have decent paper to draw some of your good drawings on. If you're just doing the thing I'm doing right now with CSP, specifically these these sketches, these mechanical drawings in order to warm up my hand, you you probably will just use like loose leaf paper, and that's fine. If you want to have like, I still recommend like either decent paper that's a step above copy paper, or like a real sketch pad in order to like sketch in, because that's really just a great way to be more acclimated to like actual paper that artists and other folks use. What's it called? Mark Crilly here suggests to get a pad of smooth Bristol. I also recommend that if you want to, if you really want to get started on drawing on, like, if you're feeling like, oh, I'm going to draw mostly on paper, Bristol itself is very thick, much thicker than the paper I'm giving out. If you can imagine, it's almost like a mixed media, what's it called? 70, 100 GSM paper? It like, when you draw on it, you can definitely feel the difference between drawing on Bristol versus drawing on, copy paper. Some people still use copy paper though, and more power to them. Let's see, pencils. Basically, you can use any pencil you like, so long as it fits the way you draw. For example, if you like to draw very fine, very, very light, light strokes, like, hold on, like this. Hold on. Yep. If you like drawing like light strokes in order to like construct your pieces and stuff, I'd recommend harder pencils. Hold on, let me go back. I'd recommend harder pencils, or even something like a mechanical pencil. But the pencils that we're giving you is just straight down the middle, not too hard, not too soft. If you press on it, you'll get a hard line, but if you just let it glide over the paper, it's not too bad. Rulers we don't have, unfortunately. You can get those at your local Michaels or your local Target or something. Kneaded erasers we do have. That is the type of eraser that's really useful for erasing huge areas without like leaving a lot of like little really like eraser nibblings behind, and it's like really useful in that sense. Also, when you get to more advanced graphite pencil techniques, it's really great for erasing like just a little bit of the markings that you make and not all of it, to create various stippling techniques, etc., etc. Now, we're going to continue over to the next part of Volume 1, and just very quickly checking on time. Cool. Alright, so what's this said? Alright, so essentially the next page we'll be given is like a look through on page 9 on how, how the range of how realistic or how cartoony you want to draw your, or how you want to draw, period. For example, like if you look in the top left, it's like more realistically attuned to human anatomy. Like when you look at a person, they actually have like eyes about as small as that, nose in that place, and like more realistic hair that falls at like hair. Slightly cartoony increases like the proportions between the eyes, the nose, and the face and the head, and then it gets really cartoony, and then you you get the Clannad version of Manga, where it's just half your face is eyeball, which can be cute, but if you think about it too hard, can get a little scary, considering, oh god, they've got gigantic eyeballs. Anyway, so this is part and parcel of what we'll be giving, part and parcel of what's given for like the first lesson. I think we're just going to go over that. Oh, sorry for this bit, you're going to have to like turn your head to the right. Essentially, these hairstyles are kind of stereotypical, and they skip to page 20 in the book to show you like the various ways you can style hair on a person, or on a female hairstyle, or a male hairstyle. We're getting kind of gender essentialist here, and we don't want to do that. Essentially, like longer hairstyles and shorter hairstyles, depending on the gender presentation of whichever character you want to create. Now, that's basically lesson one, and we're just gonna start from there. Oops, let's go back. Alright, so, the book, what's it called? The book actually goes through how to create heads and faces, from the very, very beginning. And let's go ahead and do that step by step. Oop. I do apologize if it gets a little wonky here because I'm still trying to. Oh, that's. Okay, hold on. That's actually on my screen. Hey. Okay. So my computer is also a touchscreen, so when there's something that's on screen, I accidentally like move the computer, move my screen like a bajillion things to the left and right. It's not great. All right, so let's go with on between pages 8 and 9, and oh, hold on. Ba-ba, ba-ba. There we go. So you're actually gonna see this. In between, what's it called? The pages 8 and 9 and 8 and 9 in the book. It's actually gonna go to like how to like go through like how to draw these things, which is why if you want to go through the entire book without me having to hold your hand through it, I recommend doing so. Oh, that's where the RFID tag is. Okay. Alternatively, we're just gonna get started with it right here. I wish I had like a book thing right in front of me. So I'm essentially going to have to. Alright, we're gonna switch over to Clip Studio Paint. Alright, so essentially it's relatively easy to draw like the front view of an anime or a manga character. It starts with a bit of a circle. Oh boy, the latency on this thing. On a circle, and then you cut it from. Oop. No, I'm gonna cheat a bit. Oop. Alright. Put a cross on there to what's it called? To divide the circle from a horizontal and vertical line to help you place the nose. Then it's asked to mark the 3 feature lines. 1, 2, 3. It's supposed to go from left side to circle, but don't worry about that for now. Then we outline the jaw. That's like essentially 2/3 of the way from where the 2/3 of the way from where the circle is. Like for example, like if you split this into quarters, this is another quarter. And that proportion is going to change whether or not your person or the person you're drawing is a child or a teen or an adult or an older person. So right now, these happy lines things are basically the place where you get to like place our eyeballs. It looks a little wonky because the big lines are there as opposed to like receding in the background, but we'll work with it in a bit. Yep. So what? Okay, for those doing this traditionally, obviously you won't have a Control Z like what I just did, and like no zoom, unfortunately. But essentially, these feature lines, which are supposed to go kind of like straight across, it's kind of hard for me to do because I'm like used to like a pen display instead of a graphic tablet. Let's see. And then the ears are basically on this bottom line here, just underneath the eyes, which kind of tracks as well if you're if you just try to what's called, which kind of tracks if you're um what's called if you like check that the bottom part of your, like the middle of your eye kind of intersects with the top of your earlobe, kind of, or at least intersects by a part of your ear. Then let's draw eyes and ears, just draw more details in the eyes, the shine because it's anime of course, and then form the hair and the neck. So hairline for someone like this is going to be around, around like here-ish. So this is like where the curve is. There we go. Obviously this is not the right way to draw like a neck, but otherwise soften the cheeks a bit, add some hair where you want the hair to be, that sort of thing. So instead of like the straight bob, I think I'm giving mine what's called my anime girl here, kind of like the curly, poofy hair instead of one that goes straight down. But essentially, let's see. Okay. This is basically what the sketch is, but if you're doing this traditionally, you'd want to like get rid of the what's called various lines, the sketch lines and all that. But as we are working on a new vector layer instead, as we're working digitally, what we could do is just put it on a different layer, and on top of it we'll do our inks, or rather our our more our finer detail, essentially. And it's here that we can create a little bit more you can add additional additional detail. Make it a little more interesting. Okay, I don't actually need this. What I need is, where is my where is my, oh, okay, I just realized this, the way that my CSB is set up here is not the way it's set up at home, where I usually do the manga drawing lessons. So it's a little Huh. That's odd. Okay. Oh. Yeah, okay, hold on. Oh. Okay. 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 So, like I said, it doesn't have to look like this. And like the inking stage is basically where I add like a few embellishments and all that. But the idea is the same. If you're doing this traditionally, you'd want to obviously erase the last layer behind. What's it called? You'd want to erase the last layer underneath it. In fact, let's just do that quickly. She is missing a neck. It's probably being hidden by her hair. Essentially, from this, you can just add like the line, what's called the more, what's called more detailed line layer, fine tune like the shadows, etc., on her hair, and that's essentially how you do. That's essentially how you do lesson 1. Let's see. In terms of the in terms of like where it is on the cartoony versus realistic scale, it'd probably be in between slightly cartoony and very cartoony if there was a middle ground here. And that's basically the first lesson. Now, what's it called? Like I said, the lessons are going to be really similar across other books like these, especially the very beginning when you just teach you how to like do the front view and the female the 3/4 view, male, female, etc., and the profile view of like various genders, and the hair attachment essentially because gives you options of like, oh, this is what I want my character's hair to look, or this is what this looks like, etc. Lots of fun, interesting things to do here. But for now, because I kind of have to record this episode and fine-tune it a bit, that is essentially lesson 1 of the Manga Drawing Lessons Weekly. We're going to continue on to lessons 2 and 3, and hopefully add more future lessons, so I can like play catch up to that. But for now, we're going to go ahead and call it here in terms of the video, and just say, for those of you again, and just repeat, For those of you who want to get the binder with the various with the kit to get started with these lessons and the lessons in physical like paper format, they'll be available in the Govins branch of the Enoch Pratt Free Library. Let's go back to that page again just to make sure that we can see exactly where we are. So, like I said, these will be the Manga Drawing Lessons Weekly, and I have been your host, Paolo Jasa of the Govins branch of the Enoch Pratt Free Library, hoping that you guys will continue coming to the lessons as I continue giving them. So thank you, and have a wonderful day.